Okay. Um, Gosh, this one, breaches are highlight just how important securing high value certificates and the risks associated with their compromise. Can't talk about this enough. Because when attackers are able to issue fraudulent certificates, they can effectively impersonate legitimate websites and even services, making it super difficult for users to distinguish between the real and then the fake ones. Um, we know our customers are challenged staying on top of this on their own. I had a conversation with Jake from our professional services team, and he shared with me uh, that Spotlight pointing out these high value templates is so important because the clients he works with initially don't know about these high value certificates or why they need to monitor them. He also shared that as soon as he explains what they are, they realize the gap. But until now, with Spotlight, um, there hasn't been a good way to keep track of them. And his point was too many breaches have occurred due to code signing abuse. So now with Spotlight, we've included the detection of high value certs, triggering events when digital certificates that have a higher level of risk or value, such as code signing, wildcard certificates, key recovery or data recovery agent certificates, or even subordinate CAs are issued. This gives you the ability to react in real time to revoke such certificates, which were issued maliciously, or like Mike pointed out earlier, just maybe an error. Mike, back to you. And I know, because we've had so many conversations on the product and the dev side, and I know how strongly you feel about this feature. Walk us through how Spotlight detects some of these high-value certs.
Yeah, sure thing. Let me share my screen again. So Spotlight is when the Spotlight agent is installed on a CA, it's constantly monitoring via the exit module for the issuance of certificates and the issuance of CRLs, anything that gets written to the or is just processed by the CA service. So let me show you an example. So I have a template assigned to my CA that issues certificates with the code signing EKU. So I'm going to go ahead and use PowerShell, the get certificate commandlet in PowerShell to generate that code signing certificate. And while I'm at it, I'm also going to create a certificate that has a DNS name with a wildcard character, star.brunoco.com. So that'll be a certificate that someone could install on multiple different pieces of infrastructure with different names, as long as they're part of the brunoco.com domain. So let's go back to Spotlight. And as you can see, I have 2 new events. And now we have a high value cert alert for code signing. And you see here you have pertinent information about that certificate request with the code signing EKU. And we also have another event that was fired for the issuance of a cert with a wildcard SAN right here. So essentially real time, you know that a certificate with a high value property was issued. And so most of you on this call, I'm sure, are aware of why this is so important. So when code signing certificates are issued out of band, they can have serious consequences. And because they can be used to trick systems, to trust software or application malicious code, and it can bypass endpoint security and virus detection software. and it's assumed to be trusted because it's signed by a certificate that's chains up to your organization's PKI. So in essence, Mimikatz executables can run like any other approved software, such as Microsoft Word. Now, wildcard certificates should just be an exception, not the rule. They introduce risk because an attacker can use one to impersonate subdomains or for phishing attacks. They can also introduce management overhead when it comes to revocation, because admins could be hesitant to revoke wildcard certs due to the sheer number of systems they could be installed on and shared by. Subordinate CA certificates are issued to other certification authorities, which in turn can sign end entity certificates themselves. The issuance of a sub-CA certificate is a very significant event, usually involving a key generation ceremony and a quorum of authorized PKI administrators. If a malicious actor can have an organization's PKI sign a rogue sub-CA certificate, they can use it to issue rogue and entity certificates, which would allow otherwise untrusted devices and people to authenticate to your organization's resources successfully.